Welcome to the second season of the Talking with Top podcast. I'm your host, Todd Carter. Today on the show, we have our special guest, Miss Farrah Mitchell. She is an entrepreneur and a lawyer, and she will be telling her story today. Our episode is sponsored by 93 Michi Beats. Forget your producer, my beats are made by Michi. Welcome to the show, Farrah.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Happy Friday.
Oh, happy Friday. All right, before we get started, go ahead and tell everybody, where are you from?
I am from Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina.
All right. All right, so just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I am an attorney. I graduated from Seton Hall. I'm awaiting now to take my bar exam, but I've been practicing law for the last 19 years. I work with habitual felons. That's my specialty. I help with nationwide expungements and exonerations for those who are trying to be released from prison.
Right. That sounds very helpful and exciting. Okay, so how did you become an entrepreneur?
I started in 2011. I got laid off, and I opened my first daycare in 2011, and from there I just started building. Now I'm a co-owner of a party bus, and I do my legal work. I also write grants for nonprofit organizations. So yeah,
I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh, she is a serial entrepreneur. I love it though, because you have to have more than just one source of income. That's one of the things that I'm working on trying to do now, is create another source of income for myself. So I am exploring some things just to see where I'm gonna land at.
Oh yes, passive income is what it is. I'm also an author too. I forgot about that. I have 4 books. Teaching about how to set your business up correctly, as far as getting trade lines for your grants, and if you have YouTube content, creating calendars and just a little bit of everything.
I love it. I love it. I just finished a digital marketing class myself so that I can rebrand my podcast and start to do some things that I'm not currently doing that I know will help the channel grow. So I do understand that, and I am tapping into some of that as we speak now.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. So now, how did you become an attorney? How did you pursue becoming a lawyer?
My mother, she had spent $10,000 on lawyers. I had 2 brothers from California that went to Pennsylvania and ended up getting into some madness and got locked up, no bail. They were sitting in jail for like over a year. And my mom, she paid this guy $10,000. He wasn't responding to her calls. He wasn't filing motions. They weren't even going to court on time. You're supposed to go to court every 21 days. That's the federal law. But they weren't even going to court. You know, they were just getting missed because it was such a small town. It was in Reading, PA. So they would put other cases ahead of theirs and just have them basically sitting because you get paid $400 for an inmate to sit. Okay, so a lot of people don't know that. So I just got fed up, and I'm telling my age now, Miss Todd. But I went to MySpace and I started speaking with Jewish attorney, let them know I was a student and I needed motions and I wanted to find out about different laws. And one attorney, his name was Corey Cupfer, good guy. He told me start studying the UCC laws and USC laws. I started doing that. I started learning about Supreme Court. That's like the highest court in the nation. Different laws that were able to overturn, gun with a felon laws and possession with intent to sell, and just how to get rid of testimony. So first, I learned about motions to dismiss and motions to suppress evidence. So we suppressed evidence about 2.5 months, and then from there we did motions to dismiss. But of course, it's a small hick town, so the judge kept throwing our motions out. So we come back again, but so I just had to do more on the evidence, getting rid of the evidence and disseminating the testimony from the cop. So finally, we were able to find a case where the cop, allegedly had some corruption done, and we were able to throw him out on the Brady law, his testimony out on the Brady law. From there, about another 2 more months worth of, filing motions and different case laws. And from there, they were released. No bail, no nothing. Just were able. The case was dismissed, and they were able to be released after a whole year of just sitting.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So pretty much you kind of already told me how you became an expungement and exoneration lawyer. So go ahead and tell us a little bit more about what that is.
Well, it's a 30-day process. So you will go to your local courthouse, wherever you were arrested, and ask for an official certified copy. You can also call them. A lot of people know now that you can call and have them email it to you. So you need a certified copy of your background. From there, you would email it to me. I'll go over it, and I will then file an ex parte for case disclosure and dismissal. Right? I will file that with the clerk, and I have different laws. And let's talk about the new laws first that just came out in January, because this is why I'm putting so much urgency. Because if our Trump gets in president, I don't know if these laws are still going to be effective. So it's like you have to kind of shoot while the fire is hot right now, if you understand what I'm saying. So some of the laws are the Penal Code 1109. Those are for your gang laws, mostly on the East Coast. I'm from the West Coast, but I noticed mostly on the East Coast they have a lot of these RICO law charges or gang enhancements. So that's now that 1109 gets that totally removed off your record. The penal law 654, saying that you did not get a fair jury, a jury of your peers. They mostly use jurors that were 50 plus, even older senior citizens were on your jury that weren't of your color, weren't of your creed, don't understand our culture. So right. That is now, we were saying you didn't get a fair trial, as well as the felony SB 81. A lot of times they were looking at your past record, charges that you did in the past, not the actual current crime. And we were sentencing you based on that, your past record, and not your current crime. So that's also where the Racial Equality Act comes in. I want everybody, use Google, do your research, so you kind of understand where your case fell into these categories. So with that, saying that the prosecutor didn't give you a fair chance, just tried to give you a plea, because they kind of made you concerned, like, if I don't take this, I may not be able to see my children again. I may have to do 15, 20 years versus doing 5 years and I can be home. So things that could have possibly, and the defense attorneys were in on this too, because again, their children go to school together, they play together, especially in North Carolina, and I know definitely in Alabama, because they're smaller towns, Right. And they've been practicing 20 and 30 years. So they are all connected. It's all of cahoots together with them. The judges know the defense attorneys know the prosecutors. So people didn't get a fair shot, especially in the South. I really see that people did not get a fair shot. So yeah. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying I believe that. I mean, I can understand that.
Absolutely.
And here in Alabama.
Prison industry is a $1 billion industry. Even having be on probation and parole is $1 billion industry. So that's one thing. Also, just on a side note, I do custody assistance too. So if you have a child that's over 18 and you're still paying arrears, I can assist you with that. Or if you are concerned with, I want to get custody of my child, or at least joint custody, but I'm a felon, I would say still go ahead and apply. You can go even be a co-parent, which I'm saying like a co-signer, similar to a car. Maybe you can say, my mother will plead the court for custody. My mother will be the sole custodian. I will be the joint custodian. And that way you can still have either sole custody of the child or joint custody of the child. Far as visitation, a lot of states are now enacting supervised visitation if they deem that you can start there, or you can go to the court yourself and say, I would like to see my child. I'm paying child support. Even if you're not even active on your child support, you still have the right to visitation, and you can plead in the court for visitation.
Thanks for sharing that, because I'm sure that'll help somebody. So now let's just kind of see well, you kind of told it earlier when you said about your brothers, why you're so passionate about helping people in this matter.
It's something that's needed. People need grants for their business. They need a second chance. You can't even get an apartment if you have a background check. You can't even get the job that you deserve. You may even be skilled for because of your background. It's a disparity on our whole culture.
Right. I did go to high school with a guy that served, I think maybe 2 or 3 years in prison, and then he got out, and it was like he started having problems in terms of trying to get a job. And you don't really understand that it was on his record. And even though he wanted to work, and I guess checking in with his probation officer, it was like, hey, you got to get a job. It was still hard for him to navigate. So I saw where he was finding jobs with independent people, like say in construction, where it didn't do background checks and things like that. And then finally he got his big break. He was able to maneuver into one of the hospitals through a friend having to bring him in. And then later on, I think years later, he did get it expunged off of his record. But I did see firsthand where someone went through those steps and all of the disappointment on wanting to just gain employment again. So
absolutely, it's a issue for people, and we have children to take care of, and the inflation is so high now. You have to have a high paying job to survive.
Absolutely. And these side hustles, everything is going
that part.
up. Everybody is talking about that. So when did you discover your purpose in life?
Well, I always wanted to do law. I really had. Even when I was in undergrad, I did criminal justice. So I always wanted to do law. But I guess recently God has said, this is your path, girl, and you got to go for it. You know what I mean? Like, and then once these laws came, so you could say January is when I really just got ignited. I've always helped people and, what they needed for as law. But January, I turned into a whole nother woman. I'm not going to lie.
Really? So you just started this part of the expungement in January, or?
I've been doing expungements for a while, but I mean, when the new laws came, I started looking into getting more feedback with podcasters and just getting my word out more. I would be shy and timid. Now I call the administrations. I call the DAs. I never used to do that. You know what I mean? I never would call the chief judge. I couldn't even imagine having that much tenacity to do that.
I'm glad you said that, because you know what? When you are walking in your purpose, you will get that courage. And I always say, when you're in your purpose, it does give you confidence to do things that you wouldn't do. So that just means that you found your purpose and you're in your calling. So that's where all of that comes from. Because I know even with this podcast, I wouldn't really say shy by nature, but I'm very private. So just doing this and opening myself up to sharing things about myself that I usually wouldn't share, it has been empowering. So I can definitely agree with you in terms of just going to that next level to help others, because that's where I am right now in terms of just wanting to get people's stories out like yourself, and just show that people that if you can do it, if I can do it, other people can too. And then also just the help, when you have that spirit of help, is awesome. So good. I'm glad you're in your purpose.
And it's rewarding. It's rewarding when you see somebody come back to you in 30 days and say, girl, I'm getting ready to go apply for the hospital. And you know what I mean? This stuff is off of me now. Like, it's like shedding skin.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. All right. So helping others makes you feel what?
A sense of belonging. I just don't want to feel like I'm just a mom, or I just, you know what I mean? Like I have a calling, a responsibility,
right.
know?
Right. Love it. All right. So what would you like the audience to know about you in terms of your business? What else would you like to
I need coachable people. I don't like people that feel like they're the professional, Listen to what I'm saying, because I'm only going to guide you the right way. I believe on that strong.
Okay. I saw that you do have a big following. That's awesome too.
Thank you.
Yeah, just because that in itself right there takes a lot of, you have to really grind that, and it's so much. You have to put yourself out there. You have to engage and do a lot of that.
Spend your own money. Don't forget that part.
Yeah.
Them pictures good. I be having to pay for drones, and because I went to Myrtle Beach not too long ago, and I had to pay for one of those drones. I did a shoot laying on one of those clear kayaks.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I had the guy do the drone. It was like almost $300, but the pictures were just immaculate. I couldn't. It was an experience. Let's say it like that.
Right.
But yeah, I travel, and just to have a different background, a different area, festival. That takes research, time, money, effort. You know, you got to get rental cars and hotels. So, you know, I try to make sure that it's something memorable and you stay on there at least 2 minutes to watch what I have to say or watch what I'm doing.
Absolutely. Okay.
Okay, and every Monday now I am starting to do a Know Your Rights segment. I have one posted on my Instagram now, so definitely go and see that. And basically what I was saying was how we're going to do in 2024 is we're not going to be smoking in the car and driving. We're not going to be drinking and driving because that opens up for probable cause. I just want people to be more cautious of how they handle police. If you get stopped, make sure your paperwork is right. Give them your information. Let them know, hey, this is the type of job I'm doing now. You know, I work with this. I'm a father. You know, be very cooperative with the police. If you feel that they have done you injusticely, you can always put them on the Brady law after everything is done and sue them civilly. But it's the way that you portray yourself to them right away in the beginning is how you're going to get the respect you deserve.
So if you can give the audience one piece of advice, just from the cases that you have experienced and the people you have come in contact with, what would you give the audience on advice on how to move in 2024?
Move with grace, you know, don't argue, but don't put yourself in a predicament where you have to be harassed. Don't be skirting tires and, you know what I mean, in areas that you should not be in. You know, just govern yourself correctly and you shouldn't have issues.
Gotcha. And what is the biggest thing that you think the young people mess up on that you have noticed?
Smoking in the car and driving. That's the first thing that
Gotcha.
opens a probable cause. Having guns in the car. Why do you have guns in the car? But next week I am going to do a segment of how you can be a felon and still have a gun in the vehicles for your protection. So tune in next Monday for that. And it will be legally. You're able to be a felon with a gun legally and have it in your car, and you will not be charged. But it's more to it, so don't just go around toting a gun. Make sure you listen to my segment before you go and do it.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to get to on a personal note. In your downtime, because it seems like you have a very serious life and a very busy life. So in your downtime, how do you have fun?
I have a big girl group that we're into. We go on like boating trips and we do like camping. We rent out what do you call those Airbnbs, and we do like a whole girls' night camping trip with the sauna and the spa. We usually do it every time around March too, around my birthday. Last year I did it with my birthday. We're gonna do another one in September. We'll do bowling games with the girls. So I have a real good support system when it comes to my Carolina girls.
All right. So for the people that are watching, are you single?
Oh no, girl. No ma'am. Are you single, Miss Todd?
I am. I am single.
Oh, girl, you need to come to North Carolina. There's plenty of them.
Okay. All right. Also, so what is on your bucket list?
Ooh, now that's good. I'm going to Vegas for my birthday.
Okay.
I want to go to playground play or something like that. Look that up on TikTok. It looks really cool. So there, and I want to ride on the hot air balloon.
That's gonna be fun. I'm gonna let you have that the hot air balloon. I'm gonna let you have that though. I will stick to the plane. Yeah, I thought about it, but I don't know about that one. But yeah. All right. So what do people misunderstand about you?
I don't know. I guess just because my size, they don't think that I'm timid. Just because of my size. When I'm not timid. I'm a go-getter, and nothing stops me. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. All right. And what is one of your childhood favorite memories?
Oh, my mom used to take us everywhere. I remember one time, girl, we drove from California to Disneyland in Florida. I said Disney World in Florida, and we had a 2-year-old. So Um, that long drive with cousins, and got to visit all our family as we go through. But yeah, it was good times though. But it was just a long drive.
Yeah.
Coast
Yeah,
to
my cousin
coast.
used to drive from California to Alabama. I think it takes 2 days to do that.
Yeah,
So yeah, it is. And I think most of the time you spend driving through Texas is what I was told. It take
it's
a long
almost
time,
2 days if you drive through Texas. Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
just to get through there. Absolutely. All right. And what is your favorite Bible verse?
Oh, you know what, Miss Todd? I have to say the Proverbs 31, the Shumanite woman. I think that that is the key to dealing with people, period. How she was and just how a woman should be anyway, wearing your makeup and smelling good and looking good and always in dress. Like my grandmother never wore pants. Like I
Really?
own, yes, ma'am. She never wore. I never saw my grandmother in a set of pants.
Okay.
I own more dresses than pants. In the wintertime, I'll wear my pants, but other than that, I'm in dresses, just being, dainty but loving. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's like, yeah. You see, I just lit up just thinking about like the Proverbs 31.
Absolutely. All right. So for everybody, tell the listeners how they can follow you on social media.
Okay, I have Instagram is dividend DI, like D like dog, so DI, V like Victor, I, D like dog, EN, and then Queen. I'm very responsive with my Instagram. I have an assistant that helps me out as well. You can also click my link, purchase one of my books, and you can schedule a free consult with me so that way we can keep our time a little bit organized. But I do recommend that everybody gets their official background check from your clerk of court, certified copy, or you can go to Checker, CHECKR.com, and get a certified copy of your background check. Again, a lot of them will email them to you, but that's the first step because we're very selective on who we choose to work with.
Okay. And we didn't mention your book. So tell me a little bit more about your book. Well, tell us the name of the book and how we can find it. And just tell me a little bit about what's in that book.
Okay, it's called a grant writer. Manifesting Bosses is what's the name of it. Manifesting Bosses, a guide to grant writing and business funding. And I speak about how to get your trade lines up because I do work with nonprofit organizations getting them funding, but you do have to have your trade lines already together prior
Okay.
to asking for grants. So I give you a step-by-step guide of how to do it and um, to get you ready with your business plan. And I do business plans as well for those who are for-profit grants. I'll do your business plan. And I can give you all some grants as well with that. But I prefer to work with nonprofits because I'm truly really trying to stay on this mission with clean habitual offenders, cleaning up their records. But definitely get my book so you can be on target. And like I said, I will take a once a month a nonprofit and for profit. I do some consulting for them as well. I'll probably do two for-profit companies and one nonprofit a month. I can
Okay.
guarantee that.
That's awesome. I for my completion of my digital marketing, I had to do a portfolio for a nonprofit. So I choose one of the guests that I had on my show to do that for her, and I gifted that to her.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so that was something very nice to just kind of. It's a lot goes into that in terms of when you were saying how you got to ask for money. I mean, you have to know how to write to get that money from people. And then also too, what I've noticed from just doing that is all about your image and how you look when you're asking for money. As I was going through looking at things, I can just see where, sometimes why people are not getting money is because you'll look at different things, look at their team, and I mean, it's not professional photos and just things like that will just make me not want to give money. So you have to make sure that everything just shows up very professional.
And
So,
hire. A lot of people like to do everything themselves, but you have to delegate that stuff to the professional when you're asking for a large amount of grants because there's so many other people are asking. So you want to stand out.
right. Thank you for sharing that because that's one of the things that I noticed when I became on this project, when I was kind of looking, comparing other things as to why some nonprofit was having success and why some wasn't. So I was just kind of looking at all of that. But you are absolutely right. I think a lot of time people do not want to pay for services. You're right, they want to do it themselves. But even if you take that route, at least copy someone that's doing it well and not someone that's not, so that's another thing.
Because you got to remember, those are things you can write off on your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So why not do it right the first time? It's gonna pay for itself.
Absolutely. Well, I have enjoyed you today. I'm gonna let everybody know how they can follow me. You guys can follow me on Facebook and TikTok as Tot Carter, and on Instagram as IvyTot10. And until next episode, y'all be great out there. Tell them bye, Farrah.
Happy Women's History Month.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend.